Hello, my name is Nick Kinson. I come from the town of Cardiff in Wales, which is part of Great Britain.
And I'm Nick's wife, Nicky Kinson, and I'm from the south of England, but I've lived all over, north, south, east and west.
We came to Bulgaria the first time in 2005, and it was part of our honeymoon trip after we got married. I finished work and was lucky enough to have some money from that. And we decided that we would spend the money on our honeymoon trip, and we were lucky enough to take 1 year to travel around Europe in our camper van, and it was a great time. We saw the best of Europe: food, drink, beautiful places, met lots of very nice people. And we came into Bulgaria in May 2005, and we were a little bit disappointed with the campsites that were available and the campsites that were open. Since the collapse of communism, there wasn't much investment into the campsites, and there was lots of campers asking us if we knew of a decent campsite to stay at, and that's kind of where the idea came from to build a campsite.
So the camping market in Bulgaria is really starting to develop now. We came here originally in 2007. We moved here permanently, and since then we've really seen that the market is starting to develop. A lot more Bulgarians are coming here now with motorhomes and with caravans as well. And also more international travellers each year. The number of guests that we have from all across Europe and in fact across the world is really increasing. So we're noticing a big improvement. It's good.
We decided to move to Veliko Tarnovo back in 2005 when we looked at the map and looked at what there was to do and thought, well, if you were travelling from Western Europe to come to Bulgaria, you'd want to spend some time in the area to explore the sites and the history and the culture. And around Veliko Tarnovo there's actually quite a lot of places to go and visit. There's some lovely restaurants, beautiful monasteries. So that was kind of put us in the area. And then really we wanted to find something that represented the Bulgarian countryside, that was very beautiful panorama, beautiful scenery. So then the search began to find a suitable piece of land to build a campsite. And the search became 10 weeks, and it took us 10 weeks to find a nice location. We then bought the land as agricultural land in 2005, and then went through the planning process with the Bulgarian authorities, which did take some time. It was about 2 years before we finally had the permission to start construction. So then we moved over from Britain to Bulgaria in 2007 and started the construction, which went through 2008, and then we opened in 2009 for our first visitors. To obtain the planning permissions was difficult at the time because of the language, and we really needed to go everywhere with the translator. Our Bulgarian language skills have got a lot better since then over the last 10 years, but that was the hard bit. And there wasn't a lot of information published on the internet, so you had to go to every municipal office to find out what was possible, what wasn't possible, know what the rules and the regulations were. Now there's a lot more information available, so it is easier, I think. It's still not easy, it takes time, but it would be a bit easier to do now.
So the reason why we chose Bulgaria and not one of the other 17 countries that we visited on our motorhome tour was for several reasons. One, because it was really difficult to find a good camping place here. It was difficult for us to find the camping place we hoped to find. So it was the lack of campsites here. Also, it was the fact that it was financially possible for us to do it here. The price of the land at the time was very low, and the cost of construction at the time was lower than it is now. And also because personally we wanted to live here. When we arrived in Bulgaria, I think it was a lovely surprise for us. How beautiful it was, how lovely the food was, the drink, the culture, the history. We didn't know anything about Bulgaria before we came here, and everything that we discovered we liked. And I think we liked the fact it was very different from where we'd come from, and we were looking for a change.
So our campsite is located just east of Veliko Tarnovo, about 12 kilometers from Veliko Tarnovo, on the edge of a traditional Bulgarian village, set in a panoramic valley with beautiful views of the low mountains, of the Balkan mountains. It's 15,000 square meters. It has 40 parking places for caravans, campers and tents. Each place has fresh drinking water and electricity. And we have a bar and a restaurant that is open in the summer months, which serves a range of Bulgarian and international dishes. And usually every season our chefs are Bulgarian and international, so there's good quality food. And we also have a swimming pool, which is an in-ground mosaic tiled swimming pool. It's 20 metres by 10 metres. Every day we have lifeguards operating, so your family and your children are safe while they swim. And we also have a very modern shower block with modern toilets and sinks and showers, etc. We also operate a laundry service, so for campers that are travelling or customers that are travelling long term and they need to have their clothes or their bedding, etc. washed, then our cleaning staff will actually wash and clean their clothes for them as well. We also have good Wi-Fi for the customers, because being on the road these days, everybody wants to update their blog and their Facebook page, so it's a requirement. And we also offer a lot of tourist information and a lot of help. And I think that's one thing that really differentiates us. When you're traveling in a different country and you maybe been away from home for a few months, if you have a problem with your tooth, or you have a problem with your vehicle, maybe you have a problem with your pet, your dog or your cat, then we have all the local services, and we can certainly help people, make their holiday a happier and more enjoyable experience and alleviate some of the problems that they might find when they're traveling. So yeah, we offer, and our staff are mostly Bulgarian, but they're also multilingual, so they speak usually English, but sometimes a little French or a little German that they've been learning at school. So we try and offer as much support and help, as well as just offering the basic facilities of camping.
We have Romanian guests, a lot of Romanian customers. I don't know exactly how many from last season, but we're noticing increasingly that we get a lot of Romanian customers who are travelling to Greece, and then they choose to stop with us on the way and on the way back. And this has been starting for the last 2-3 years, and now people are coming and staying for 2 or 3 nights with us, then going to Greece, and 2 or 3 nights on the way back, because they're enjoying their stay here as much as their time in Greece.
And also with the Romanian customers, it's not so far from Bucharest and the areas around Bucharest, so they see it as a weekend getaway. So often on the weekends or the Romanian public holidays, they'll come down on a Thursday night or a Friday night, stay, relax around the pool, do a little tourism, and then head home again on a Sunday. And it's only a sort of 3.5 hour drive back and forth. So we get a lot of customers now that actually just come down for a week, a weekend break, just to relax and get away from the city and get away from work, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, in fact, they've been saying that it's as close and as easy for them to get here as it is to go north into the mountains in Romania. So, to explain a little about the economics and the statistics in the market, in 2008 was a very, very big market and generated 26.1 billion euros. So in leva here, over 50 billion, tremendous size. And so our aim when we were setting up the camping is to try to help Bulgaria to attract a percentage of that market. And it only needs to be a very small percentage to be make an enormous difference to the local economy and to the general economy. For our local area here, the campsite makes a big difference. We employ 15 staff, all with insurances, taxes paid, as well as the income inside the campsite. Campers generally spend 1/3 inside the campsite, 2/3 outside, at tourist sites, buying diesel, petrol, restaurants, general spending. And so it's not only the campsite's income, but also for the whole region. Our restaurant, wherever possible, we use local suppliers. Some even come from as close as the village. The first property next to us is a little market garden. They provide us with fruit and vegetables in the summertime.
Just general observations over 10 years of living in Bulgaria. the country has changed quite significantly, and the type of guests that we have changed as well. In 2008-9, when we were starting off, Bulgaria was still seen as a very difficult country to visit. Wasn't a lot of information on the internet. Campsites didn't really exist. They didn't have websites. It was hard to find information. And it was seen as an adventurous destination, you know, for the brave few people that want to cross the border into Bulgaria and see what it was like. And now it's not. I mean, the market has changed. The organisation camping.bg that is promoting the campsites, actually not just the campsites, but promoting the whole camping industry in Bulgaria. And I think the sort of message I'd like to give after 10 years is Bulgaria is open for camping. You can buy every accessory that you want, the same as you can in Western Europe. You can rent caravans, you can rent motorhomes. There are some very good quality campsites in Bulgaria now. The level of tourist information is coming up, and there's more information available. There's a lot more information on the internet, and I think, you know, sometimes the Western media portrays Eastern Europe as sort of the bad brother of Europe, and I really think that's the wrong way. They're beautiful countries in Eastern Europe, and they're well worth visiting. And now it is easy to do, and they're really, you know, easy to travel to, easy to visit campsites. And there really shouldn't be any excuse not to come. When 2005, when we left Bulgaria after we purchased our land, we travelled around Romania for 2 or 3 weeks. So went to Bucharest and Sibiu, Timișoara, went through the Carpathian Mountains, and it's a beautiful country as well. You know, we have a lot of friends that come over and visit. They're pleasantly surprised at, you know, how beautiful the country is. We've had friends that have flown into Bucharest and then travelled down to see a little Romania and a little Bulgaria. And a lot of our friends and ex-colleagues and things like that, they're very familiar with France and Germany. They've travelled there on holidays, but they've never really ventured to Eastern Europe. So when they do come, it is a refreshing surprise for them, and they do enjoy their time here. They do enjoy their vacation time here. I think one of our long-lasting memories that we'll have forever is when we first came into Bulgaria. We came from Greece with our camper near Melnik in the southern side of Bulgaria, and we went to a very small campsite. They had a small restaurant. The menu was only in Bulgarian. We've been in the country 6 hours. We had no clue what it read. But the guy was so friendly, the waiter, wasn't he? And no problem. He just ordered things for us and a bottle of wine, and it was delicious, and we had a great time. And when we first moved over, our friends in the village, or now our friends, we hadn't met them at the time, they invited us into their home, and we sat in the garden, you know, with shopska salad and some local made rakia, and they don't speak English and we don't speak Bulgarian, but for 2 or 3 hours, you know, we managed to communicate and have a nice time, and now they've become good friends. And that hospitality was just fantastic, and I think that made a lasting impression as well.